Welcome back to Spot On Jaguars, brought to you by Teal Reign. It's redemption week here in Jacksonville. It's another victory cigar day as the Jaguars took down the Houston Texans. And on today's show, we're going to talk about that beatdown, plus their crybaby fans all over social media. We're also going to preview the upcoming game versus the Cincinnati Bengals on Monday Night Football here in Duval. So if you like Jaguars, football, and all things Duval, hit like and subscribe button, mash the notification bell, and let's get started. Welcome back, everybody. Once again, Eric here with Jeff and Ben. We got a great show for you today, but before we get started, we want to give a special shout out to local Jacksonville legend Fred Taylor. Made the Hall of Fame semifinalist. Was it semifinalist?
Yeah.
Yet again. 17th on the all-time rushing list, and virtually everyone ahead of him has made the Hall of Fame, with the exception of Adrian Peterson, who's not yet eligible. Hasn't made the 5-year mark since his retirement. But Fred Taylor, and now with the running backs, they're not going to get
the numbers.
He's going to remain in that spot permanently because they just don't play long enough career-wise to catch him. So that's going to be a bigger and bigger glaring weak spot on the Hall of Fame that they don't have one of the top 20 rushers in there when everyone else is. But we think around these parts, we think Fred Taylor absolutely deserves to get in. He was the lifeblood of the Jaguars for multiple years. Huge fan favorite, all-around good guy, and still around town.
Florida Gator.
Oh, yeah. Big, that's another big... Is that Hall of Fame worthy right there?
That's right there.
I don't know if you want to bring that up right now.
We're not talking about that.
But no, Freddie T, we're hoping he gets in this year, get the second Jaguar player into the Hall of Fame, and then follow right behind him. We want Jimmy Smith in there. So, congratulations, Fred, on that one.
And we know you're watching.
Fred, he has to watch the show. Next is the... Tomorrow, the November 30th, is the 30-year anniversary of Jacksonville Jaguars being awarded the franchise. I actually remember when I got home from school coming to the news that we had got the franchise. All my neighbors were standing outside yelling it. We all high-fived. We were so stoked and excited. And now it makes us feel old because that was 30 years ago that got.
I feel the same age.
Yeah. But that
same size.
When
beats to it.
When that got announced, so now that we do feel old, where were you when you heard that news, Ben? You remember where you were?
Yeah, I was.
Probably still bald.
Yeah, I might have had a shaved head. I don't know. I've been shaving my head for a long time. No, I was at DuPont Middle School in study hall, and they actually announced it on the intercom.
Oh, really?
When they said when it happened.
That's pretty neat.
You meant ISSP.
No, I was an angel.
Y'all don't know what ISSP is? You're too young to watch the
show. or you're old.
They came on the intercom, made the announcement?
Yeah, they announced it, and I just remember, memory is a little hazy. I don't remember the exact time span, but I remember when they first started putting out all the band logo stuff. It was like a black T-shirt and a black sweatshirt. Those were like the first two things that I remember, and people going out to like JCPenney's or something like that, like at night, and people waiting in line to go get them and all that, and it was a fun time.
Well, I remember an announcement they made for us was the O.J. Simpson verdict.
That was high school.
In high school, they came on and announced that.
I was at Wolfson at the time.
Yeah, me too.
And speaking of O.J. Simpson, Fred Taylor is higher than him on the all-time career rushing list. Nice. So if we got O.J. in there, what's taking so long? We got to get Fred in the Hall of Fame.
I like it.
Let's get on top of that, boys, the committee. Today is actually, we're filming here on a Wednesday, International Jaguars Day.
Yeah, happy International Jaguar Day.
So happy International Jaguars Day to you fellas, too. Is it International Jacksonville Jaguar or just straight the Jaguar?
Synonymous.
Yeah, because you think Jaguar, I think Jacksonville Jaguars.
Exactly. So, but it's for I think it's probably the reason it was made is for like conservation,
Clearly.
With
they put it so close to when they announced we had a team. So
yeah, well.
That makes sense. Makes sense.
Yeah, that's I don't know, right near our
We're
anniversary.
going to go with it. Trust me, there is no research has been done on this, but we're going with that, and that now.
Happy Jaguars Day, everybody!
Set in stone. Happy International Jacksonville Jaguars Day. We'll keep it. We'll keep it there. Moving right along, and in the introduction, I said it. The crybaby fans of the Houston Texans been giving me smoke all week long, leading up to the game. Then took the beatdown, the redemption beatdown, and now they're crying about the officials. Is this happening?
I think they got together with the Pittsburgh Steelers fans. I don't know.
And the Bills.
And the Bills. Every time the Jaguars win, I got to hear what the officials did, what the other team did wrong. Hey, you just got your asses kicked. That's what happened.
I like it. It is what it is. And it's been like, look, I think the officials weren't good in the game, but they were good. They were poor on both sides. And,
Very
I remember
so.
at the start of the game, I'm watching it, and
Very
I
first
thought
play.
there was all kinds of holds. I'm like, that's a hold. That's a hold. That,
Very first play.
And you're just like, okay, all right, let's, ride it out, see what happens. Then there was the egregious no call on Evan Ingram that led to the interception and then them scoring. And there were bad calls, but like what I was looking at was there were some calls that they made against the Texans that were probably penalties, but they were ticky-tack. And it's the type of stuff that they could have let go or whatever. But like the pass to Tank Dell, it was an illegal shift. If you don't want them to call illegal shift, don't shift illegally.
And let me say that the flag was thrown before C.J. Stroud released the football. I understand that Tank Dell made a great catch and he made a great throw, but it was never going to count.
Right.
It was, okay, so if it's just revisionist. They're just mad that it would have been a great catch.
Remember,
the flag was on the ground. It was never going to count.
And we went for it on fourth down, picked it up, and then we got called for illegal formation or something like that.
Right.
Yeah, it sucks. You get pissed off. When you make a big play and then they take it back. I get it.
There's also
some
sort of a chance that Stroud thought that was a free play, and that's why he launched it to Tank Dell to begin with. We don't know, but that play was dead from the beginning.
Are we talking the one where he's going out of bounds, or is this a different one?
No,
Okay, I know what you're talking. Okay,
yeah,
because even the Tank Dell one where he was.
Oh no, I'm talking about when he threw the bomb and Darius Williams. It looked. You know what it reminded me of was the Bills game when Darius Williams made the interception and it hung up in the air forever, and he actually came down with it. He didn't get it this time, and it was a hell of a play, but
because even the Tank Dell one where he was going out of bounds.
Yeah,
I mean, you got to think it's such in fast motion. Mm-hmm. It looked like he was way out of bounds.
It did,
and so they immediately call it incomplete. Now replay, it's
close.
So close.
Yep.
It was one of the closest. Yeah,
but they've already called it incomplete.
So
you have to have 1,000%. It's
going to be concrete,
undisputed.
Right.
And I'm going, is it? And I'm going, it is. But
it was
is
like
it not?
both.
I'm going,
it was like both his feet were there as the ball was making contact with his hands. But then the other foot came up, and then he got the 1 foot for
now,
sure.
Now, if they would have called that a catch, and then
Right.
we challenge it,
right?
They would make it okay. We're going to stick with the catch.
Yeah,
because they're not.
Correct. Yeah.
So,
and I agree with that too.
So, and that's the thing. And look, I hate being like I refuse to be the refs cheated us guy. There's a couple games in my history of sports watching. Miles Jack wasn't down as one of them.
That's actually holds the number one spot.
It's pretty bad.
1, 2, and 3. Yeah. But there's other times when it's like it really cost you, and it was just something absolutely This wasn't that. There were there was bad officiating across the board. There were bad calls against us and for us, and you lost. Just get over it. And I don't know what the trend is, but it literally. And I put stuff out on social media, and there's a lot of people been talking about it. But it's every time we beat someone, it's like they can't wrap their heads around the fact that the Jags are good. They can't wrap their heads around the fact that we have a good team, and we can beat you in a lot of different ways. And one of them doesn't have to be the officials cheating or the NFL. Like, how stupid is it that we're perennially the team that has, ignored by the league, and we're the team that
talking about the media,
the media, right. Just everyone outside of Jacksonville or that's not a Jacksonville fan. We're the team that they go to commercial when it's our draft pick coming up. We're the team that's moving to London. We're moving to LA, then we're moving to London, all over. So we're not some kind of like NFL darlings that they're going to cater to, like could be said for some other teams. How everybody's talked about like
Jets a lot.
Tom Brady
Dallas
and well, yeah, but that's market. And that's another thing, the market size. Why are they going to cheat and put, for little old Jacksonville when you got Houston, this huge market, right? It's just so dumb. And it's like, even if you like, we've all been in those games before where we thought that we got kind of screwed a little bit about the refs. But I'm going to take my medicine. I'm going to take the loss like a man. And I'm not going to sit on there and go on social media and just, it was all refs or whatever. Say, hey, look, move on to the next one. And here's the thing, Texans fans. Stroud is a stud, and we'll talk about him some more. Your team is real good. You're going to beat us sometimes in the future. We're going to beat you more times in the future. We got a decade plus of good matchups coming up. But just this whole trend of all these teams crying, and like their heads exploding because they lost to the Jags, and blaming it on the refs or conspiracies or whatever. It's just ridiculous. It
and
drives
the fact
me
that
nuts.
in the beginning of the game, there were so many missed hold calls on our defense. I mean, an insane amount.
And on
Me and you were I'm going, that's a hold.
we were
that's
going
a
nuts.
Hold, that's a
And
hold. I'm going, and they're not calling anything.
on Sounds of the Game, what the Jaguars put out, the video, they have the higher definition cameras and the low camera angles where they're like right up on the guys, and you can just see them. I mean, there's jerseys getting tugged and guys like trying to defensive linemen trying to get to the quarterback, and they're being held. That there was no flag,
it was
thrown.
ridiculous.
We've spent enough time on the refs. All right, but listen, I do want to give. I don't want to take all away from the Houston fans. I would like to give them some credit about something. Social media, the
uniforms look good.
Uniforms look good.
Yeah.
But
that's about it.
I want to give them some credit for some originality. They have called me some swear words and some curse words on social media that I haven't heard before. So I don't know what they got in the water over in Texas, but they're very original. And I'm not repeating them here, but keep it coming. I enjoy the interaction, Texans fans. Bring it on.
Well,
we're here for the
sure,
smoke.
They say things are bigger in Texas. Well, they definitely have the biggest crybabies. They're tied,
Man,
for,
when you
especially
cry,
with the
you
Steelers.
cry.
That's enough of that. All right, moving on to the actual game, because there was a game that was played. Both quarterbacks look good.
Yep.
Trevor Lawrence, 23 for 38, 364
I'd
yards.
say real good.
Real good, okay. One touchdown in the air, one rushing touchdown. His rating was 90.2, and the QBR
Should have had another passing touchdown, too.
9.92. Calvin Ridley, the drop. Yeah, big drop for Calvin. Calvin also looking great. 5 catches for 89 yards with 1 touchdown. Only 6 targets. That last target, though, was a big one. That was a touchdown. In his hands.
What about that pass that Trevor threw to Ridley where it looked like it
I thought it was
teleported?
picked.
Yeah, it literally
It went from
phased
another
through.
dimension
Yeah.
through this guy's that's a multiverse pass.
He threw,
That's
he threw a Nightcrawler from the X-Men or Kitty Pryde or
You
something.
said, I was at,
for the
I was
nerds
at,
out there.
I was
it was
at
like,
Twin Peaks and everybody was like, what was that? Like,
that was wild.
What just
How did that happen?
Yeah.
It teleported.
Christian Kirk chipped in 4 catches for 89 yards. Evan Ingram, five catches in. Welcome back, Zay Jones.
Welcome back.
And I want to talk
had a
about
big
that.
catch.
Kirk should have had 100 yards receiving, but the Texans, the architect of the stadium, cheated us by making the sun come down.
Okay,
that.
yeah.
So
That's,
I want to send a picture of that to the league.
That was
We're gonna
brutal.
appeal that
complain.
catch,
Yes.
actually.
We
So-
appeal that catch. Okay. Going with the cheating theme.
Yes.
Still. Rushing. Slow day for the rushing. ETN.
It was very slow.
20 carries, 56 yards. Dearness chipped in 7 carries for 19 yards. They averaged about 2.8 yards per carry. However, they were both active in the receiving game. ETN with 4 catches for 30 yards, but the big one, Dearness Johnson, the 42-yard catch. So chipping in. We like to see the running backs getting involved in the passing game. Trevor finding.
Tank got in there and got a nice little run too.
Yeah,
I like
6-yard
seeing
run.
that.
Welcome back, Tank.
And,
He wasn't
yep.
even injured, but welcome back, Tank.
I've been on Dearness Johnson all year. I think he's a really good player, and I like to see him. I actually picked him up late in fantasy because ETN was banged up. He even went to the locker room for a little bit, and so I'm like he can be a nice little. If ETN has to go out, he's going to be the workhorse. But then also though what I liked was they stuck with the run, and in the second half. ETN kind of picked it up a little bit and was getting some more yards in the second half.
We had some
when we
big
needed
runs,
it.
man.
Yep.
In like the fourth quarter, ETN's like, okay.
Offensive line looking good.
Yeah.
It doesn't show in the running game. They, like I said, they only averaging 2.8 yards per carry, but the offensive line looked cohesive. Gave Trevor time in the pocket. Did their job looking better than some weeks. We've got on the offensive line earlier, so we'd like to praise them when they're doing good. Penalty-free game, so did great for the offensive line.
I'm glad. So Eric and I have had talks about this, and I think we should talk about it a little bit. The numbers are out there that when Zay Jones plays, Ridley goes off. And Eric attributes Ridley and our offense being better. I think you said, I don't want to misquote you.
Well,
but
I'll say it. Let me say it the way I want. Zay Jones allows you to take what's called take the top off the defense. They have to respect that deep threat. They have to respect that speed. They can't just send extra rushers, focus on Kirk and Ridley. They have to. You now have an elite weapon, a target that Trevor will find, whether it's a hot receiver on a blitz, or whether you're just not paying enough attention, trying to cover him with a linebacker, or scheme up some things to stop that. You can't do these sorts of things when Zay is on the field. When you open up these underneath routes to let Calvin Ridley go to work, he looks like the elite receiver that we know he came into Jacksonville as, and he looks significantly better with Zay on the field. Now, you want to contribute that to offensive line play, giving Trevor. You want to attribute that to offensive line giving Trevor more time and being able to find Ridley, work some more stuff down the field. Go for it. Go right ahead and do that. But I think it has a lot to do with Zay being back and having that extra dimension on the 100%. Offense and saying, hey, you can't double team our certain guys. You can't take away some of our throws because now we're going to make you pay with Zay, and you have to respect that kind of speed. And when he's back, it just seems that they're all clicking, and that receiving core is looking unbeatable. They can't be stopped, or unstoppable rather, when he's on the field. They look like a different offensive unit. Speak to that for a second, Ben.
So I really don't think that we disagree on this. I just think that I know this is a moment. It's a tradition for International Jaguars Day that you it's like a peace treaty. So the original Jaguars Day, there was a peace treaty between the Jaguars. And
did you and I call a peace treaty? I don't know what happened.
No. Okay, all right. I'll finish. No, he was saying that because we agreed.
Michael Jordan and LeBron James, we can just start.
You don't want any of that smoke, bro. I'll destroy you. That's another podcast. But so, okay. I don't think we disagree. I don't think we disagree because I think it's clear the offense looks better when Zay Jones is in the game. I'm a big Zay Jones fan. My daughter's favorite player. Zay Jones is big in the Smith household, so I'm not taking anything away from him. But from what I watch, and when I hear Tony Baselli and Leon Searcy and Jeff Lageman and some of these guys talk that actually watch film, that actually played the game, they say the offensive line has played better the last couple games and played a lot better last game. And so what I say to that is, and that's what my eyes tell me also, and it's not a matter of Trevor dropping back and there's another guy open, or where it's like the whole one read quarterback thing came from the fact that he drops back, looks at a guy, and then all of a sudden the pocket's collapsing on him, and then he's getting tackled for a loss. And all I'm saying, so again, I don't think we disagree. I just think you put more emphasis on Zay Jones being back than the offensive line playing better. And I say that Zay Jones definitely contributes and plays a lot better. But I just think that the offensive line, it's been very noticeable when they've had bad games, which they've had several to me and to other experts that watch this year. And then I wasn't calling myself
other expert. He put himself on a level of an expert.
Me, Lageman.
I tried to hide it, but I couldn't.
That wasn't what I meant.
I kind of baby barfed a little bit.
That wasn't what I meant. You know what I'm saying? I'm saying myself as well as experts. But being humble on Jaguars Day. But I just think that it's the offensive line clearly played better the last couple games. And bro, look at what Trevor, the time that he had. I mean, he was able to survey and do some things, and I don't know.
Sending that pressure, they're not sending those exact blitzes when
I hear that.
Weapons all over the field for the receiving core. It's you have to respect some of these guys. You have to put some attention on some of these guys. You're giving him extra time. But listen, when a team wins, the offensive line generally looks good, and if your offensive line's playing poor, you're generally just not going to win. Those do go hand in hand. So I'm not trying to discredit what you're saying.
We don't disagree.
I'm absolutely agreeing with you. I'm just saying there's reasons for the offensive line looking better. And this week they look good. When you don't hear offensive lineman's name called, that means they're not getting in trouble. Right. They're not getting those penalties. So they had a relatively clean game, looked great. But who knows if they had a clean game because the refs were so bad that no one even knows who did what, who fouled who penalty. But no, big Jaguars win. So final was 24-21.
Oh yeah, shout out Luke Farrell too. He had his career high reception too. I just want to give him. A shout out.
Luke, he did. He absolutely did. All right, on to the defense. Defense looking good, and we needed every last play that they made because it was a close game. And actually, let's go to CJ Stroud for a second. what he contributed. CJ Stroud's numbers: 26 for 36, 304 yards, 2 touchdowns, no interceptions. Added 6 rushes for 47 yards and a touchdown with his legs. QBR of 77.8 and a rating of 116.0. Wow. Staggering numbers, really good. Kid looks great. We're going to have to see him for the next decade or so. And like I said, we needed every last defensive play because it was a tight game, divisional game, and this is what we are coming to expect from these two teams going forward. I'm actually excited about it. I would love to have a lay-down division like Tom Brady had for 20 years, but no. This will keep the Jaguars on their toes, keep them fighting till the end, and now that they're going to have to, stay in great form, stay in rhythm throughout the year, not
Stay
lag
sharp.
off towards the end, right? So it actually might, is it iron sharpens iron, steel sharpens steel, whatever.
Iron sharpens iron.
Yeah.
But yeah, they're gonna.
But yeah, still sharp.
I would love to have that rivalry being built back up. It seemed like for the last few years we were down, they were up, they were down, but now we're both up at the same time. So it's actually looking like a legit rivalry for years to come. Two young, good quarterbacks. So that's actually gonna be fun. But let's talk about the pressure getting to CJ Stroud, and that being Josh Allen, the real Josh Allen, not the fraudulent quarterback from Buffalo, but pass rushing Josh Allen for the Jaguars. 2.5 sacks, pressure all day long. It looked like they weren't even trying to block this guy. He actually missed another sack. He whiffed on another sack. Should have been 3.5 easy. And the other half sack was to Trayvon Walker, getting him up to 4.5 on the year. Defense looking stout. They couldn't move the ball on the ground. They couldn't rush it. So they had to, break out the passing game, which no one can run on the Jaguars these days. I want to talk about the defense for a second and give them some of the credit. Jeff, what we see from the defense?
Well, the defense just hounded Stroud. I mean, granted, Stroud eluded a lot of the sacks.
He can move, yeah.
But I have to give the shout out to the coverage. I mean, for him to keep moving around, looking, and we're still trying to get him looking, and we're not that. The way we've been set up this year, we're not that team. Like our pass, we give up a lot of pass yards. We don't give much rush.
Right.
But this time,
kind of
this was a little bit.
bend but don't break the hope defense. Yeah.
This was a little bit different, even though he got time because he's a little elusive. I mean, yeah, he put up 300 yards, but man, he got sacked 4 times. Which let me note this: Trevor got sacked 0. I got to note that.
That's because of Zay Jones.
Or whatever. But yeah, Zay Jones, offensive line played better. The refs, I don't know. We don't know. But we hounded him. It's like he stole our candy and we're trying to get it. And we were all over this dude.
Yeah.
I got to give him credit for eluding, we had some missed sacks, missed tackles, but dude, we hounded him like we're a dog and he had beef jerky in his back pocket. It was ridiculous.
It was a good show by the defense.
Another good show. He couldn't find anybody open, even though, yes, he threw for 304 yards, but man, he had to work for that 304 yards.
He did. So one thing that makes that first game so frustrating was, they had offensive linemen. Their offensive line was banged up, and they had a couple of starters out, I want to say, and we didn't sniff Stroud. We didn't get anywhere close to him. This game was completely different. We were all over him, and the way Josh Allen basically, might have saved the game. The way that he was able to, the clutch of Josh Allen being able to, when we needed it most, not 1 but 2 sacks at the end to put them out of field goal range.
That one was like 10, 15 yards deep.
Yeah, and this dude. He is dominant. He is a wrecking ball, and he is just like, and
he's playing like he needs to be paid next year.
He does need to be paid.
Like
pay that Jaguars.
He wants to get paid. Pay that man his money.
Yes.
A quarterback and receiver, I feel like it's easier for them to make a play when you, like in basketball, it's more one-on-one, right? So if a guy needs to hit a game-winning shot, he can will himself to that game-winning shot. You only usually see those clutch sacks out of the elite of elite pass rushers. You know what I'm saying? It's will. Guys kind of stack up sacks throughout the year and their numbers go. But to be able to say, hey, we need a sack here, I'm going to go get that sack right now. And I'm going to get you another one. You know what I mean? It was so impressive. And then just following on what you said about the secondary, when Stroud gets out, and so that's a long time. You
That
got
is
to
a
cover
long
those guys.
time.
And he's a good quarterback, and he's shown to be accurate. And it's so I just don't think anybody was there. And yes, they have a little bit bend but don't break. That's not to discredit our secondary, because our secondary has been playing also. But remember, Campbell wasn't playing. So we have some younger guys back there, some guys maybe not as experienced. And to do that job with, Houston's a fast team, and Tank Dell's a stud. You know what I mean? And it was super impressive.
And the time that that Stroud made for himself by eluding sacks and just walking, like normally, I mean, with our team in the past weeks, the way we give up the pass yards because we're more of a rush, he could have had 500 yards, honestly. But they covered so well. It's like, oh, no. All right, we're coming to get him. Well, I'm going to run this way. Like, he sat in the pocket forever running around. And that's nothing against our defensive line because we're all over them. It's just our pass coverage was there.
Yeah.
And that's the first thing I saw was like, at Twin Peaks, people were going, oh, he's got all day. I'm going, because we're covering everybody. It's like, come on, guys. I mean, I was impressed. I was impressed.
And it was just all around. Even though he put up yards and they put up some points, it was impressive. Roy Robertson Harris got a sack. He always seemed, or the line was getting pressure.
He was never really truly comfortable.
No, he
never
wasn't. And
really
to his
sit
credit,
down.
he still.
He didn't really come back and just be comfortable. Like the first two possessions, punt. He was never comfortable. And we went back into a zone, but then when we had to put the pressure on, when we needed it, dude wasn't comfortable.
This was a quality team. This is a playoff team. They're absolutely in the
shockingly a
thick of the
playoff
A
team.
rival.
Yeah,
on the
just
road.
because they weren't expected to be at this level this soon during their rebuild doesn't mean that they aren't a quality team. And this was a big win, a big divisional win for a Jaguars team to make a little bit of separation in the division as they chase the playoffs. But Houston is a quality team. They are a playoff team. This is a big win. This is a good win.
Yeah, it's a very good
and
win.
when the defense plays well, the offense plays well, they click together, you can beat good teams. This is a one-possession win. I mean, we won by a field goal. So sometimes in the past, we've lost those games, thinking like the Chiefs game, where we've given up those one-possession or one losses.
And I'm not, when I'm wrong, I will tell you I'm wrong. I don't care.
Wait, you really will?
Yeah, well, I always do.
Well, we need to have a meeting here.
I said Stroud was going to be a bust.
Yes,
and I have a reason to, because Ohio State has never produced a professional quarterback.
Reason, though. That has nothing to do with him.
Never produced. That's track record. Ohio State's they started when Jesus was born. I mean, they've been around forever. They've never produced a quarterback. And this guy's actually, like, after watching him through the season, because I really never watched, Ohio State bust. Hey, dude's impressive. I'm impressed. And I'm wrong. I'm wrong. Even though this is his first year,
he is a stud, and I like what Trevor said. He said his honesty. He was like, I kind of wished, I would like the other teams in our division to not be good.
I thought that was funny.
Yeah, and I liked it. But no, this team, their DNA has been that they play better with adversity. And so, like you said, backs against the wall. So
Leon, seriously, I heard his podcast. He was on a podcast. He said that.
Yeah.
He goes, I don't want the new, just because we're not getting the love is because the logo on our helmet. And I love that, because when we have the elevation, we don't play that good.
Yeah,
but when you put us against the wall and try to back us down, we're like.
So I heard somebody else
find out.
It might have been Bucky Brooks, and I've heard it said a couple of times, and I share the opinion. This team had
with
to
all the experts.
Correct.
With him and the other experts.
Well, no, I think you all probably share it too. This team had to learn
that sounded kind of silly. He's like, maybe you're an expert like me. I don't know.
Yes. You should have
done this when you did that.
But no, this team had to learn how to win, right? And that's what last year was about. And so now the next step is they need to learn how to play with a lead and play with being ahead, whether it's in the standings or in the actual game. I thought, one of the things that I was saying against with the Texans fans that were crying online was we had 100 more yards. We had a 2-score lead out of the gate. we had a 2-score game late. It wasn't. They made it close again. To their credit, they made plays. I also think that, and I think they have a good coaching staff, but I think they got outcoached. I think we outcoached them, and it was just one of those things where I think we should have. I think we should have won by more. And by the way, would you have kicked the field goal, or did you like going for it on 4th down at the end of the half when?
We talked about this. I don't hate the call, but I'd have kicked the field goal because we get the ball right at halftime.
Yeah,
I would take the points.
That camp. We both said the same thing. We knew he was gonna go for it. And that's what he is. My thing was I was a little mad, and just because. And I'm not like
because that's what a 9-point lead, and you get the ball back.
And you get the ball back instead of being greedy and saying, well, best case scenario, we get a touchdown here, and then we get another touchdown on the first drive in the second half.
The prevailing thought there is you could essentially put some distance between yourself. You could win the game right
there.
You
could put 3 points distance between yourself.
But you can't
also
lose the game right there.
Okay,
okay.
So
the analytics of it.
So I get that, and I'm not a conservative.
Because let's say hypothetically at the end of the game he makes that field goal.
Right.
That 3 points comes into play.
What I just told you, I'm devil's advocate. I would have kicked the field goal as well. So.
Right. Yeah, and so it's. I like having that kind of coach and I like having that kind of team that goes for it on 4th. I'm not like super conservative in that way, but to me, when you started that drive probably thinking, hey, we can probably get close enough and get a field goal out of this, right? But then you have it gifted to you. I mean, I don't know about gifted. I mean, they went out and took it, but they get all the way down to the 1. He gets out of bounds before time expires. So you have a chance. Just go kick the field goal, get those extra points. But it is what it is.
Wasn't mad.
Yeah.
But I'm going. I'd kick the field goal, but I'm not mad at the call.
Yeah.
All right.
And that's exactly what I said. I texted you. I was like, I'm not mad, but I would have took the points.
Well, so I'd say the last thing with that game, and just we went in there. It was even though all the pictures during the game and at the kickoff, for all the talk of it being a big game, and you hear the Texans fans talking, the stadium looked empty. Not empty, but it looked half full. Did you
watch Pat McAfee today?
No. What did he say?
He was blowing it up, J.J. Watt, because he's always on there, and he had it on his back screen going, look at all this red.
Yeah.
Look it up here. He goes, man, what is going on in Houston?
Yeah.
He goes, you need to, and he was bringing me back to the Jaguar days where we had to taper off.
Cover the
seats. But
and he was talking about, if you do this and you do this, and I thought, and if you watch it, J.J. Watt was actually kind of getting aggravated, and he's a weekly guy on the show.
Look, as a
I think they call it J.J. Watt Wednesday.
I'm gonna say something. If every fan that's called me a name in the DMs and on social media this week had bought a ticket, that stadium would be full. So I don't know what you guys were doing, but y'all just damn sure went at the game.
Agreed. And now with that said, at the end of the game, it was loud. So, acoustics, whatever, are they pumping in noise there?
I mean, it's the third biggest stadium in the league, and they're probably pumping in noise.
Yeah, but whether
there was a lot of red in that
allegations.
secondary. There was a lot of red.
I don't want to discredit the people that were there cheering for their team. Y'all did a good job at the end, but I will say that as a fan of a team that has fairly at times and unfairly a lot of times been criticized for the fans and not showing up or not having good crowds. No, but the other thing is, and one of the biggest things, and I'd always be arguing with people. We're in Jacksonville versus Houston. Look at the size of the market, right?
Insane.
Okay. And not only that, when you talked about the tarps, when we built that stadium, it was one of the bigger stadiums in the league. It was like, upper half or upper quarter. It was like almost 70,000 people in the smallest market. So it wasn't that when you look at it with
originally made for the Gator Bowl,
right? And when you look at it with context, that's not as big a deal, even though it's the optics are bad, to have to cover up seats or whatever. But anyway, it was I was kind of disappointed with seeing that, because they were talking a lot, but then they didn't show up at the game. But then they did make noise.
Oh yeah, Pat McAfee. If you watched that show today, he lit into Jay.
Well,
I might go home and watch that.
It's funny.
What I was saying though, just the whole reason I brought that up was, if they would have won that game, they would have been in first place in the division. It was a hostile, semi-hostile, at least loud at times, crowd.
Big game.
But it was a big game. And so we got a really good Jaguars performance. So segueing into we're talking about the game upcoming, I hope that whole us, prospering and going into a game that we all, I think, and everybody's going to think we're going to come in here, it's going to be a cakewalk because Joe Burrow's out or whatever. I'm hoping, what I want to see, the biggest thing that I want to see is I want to see this team come out sharp, get a lead, extend the lead, play with the lead, and impose your will versus an undermanned team.
Because we let Houston win here a couple weeks ago.
Right.
4 weeks ago.
But anyway, let's talk about it.
Okay, so let me wrapping up last week. We'll get on to next week in a second. Wrapping up last week, let's get through it. Logan Cook chipped in 2 punts. Only 38-yard average, but both of them were inside the 20-yard line.
Big.
So he's still killing it. Parker Washington showed up.
He killed a deer too. Apparently, I just saw on his Instagram.
Parker Washington had
Logan Cook.
Okay, yeah.
Parker Washington showed up, had a 22-yard return. Nice return for Parker Washington. So we like to see that. And good win for the Jags. That'll do it.
It was a very good win.
Yeah.
And a lot of people, they were talking about they were kind of making a joke. It's kind of saying, they were like, man, it's kind of sad that on a Sunday, the biggest game on a Sunday is Jacksonville or Houston.
You're used to it.
Get used to it. It's going to be like that for years.
Yep.
And the guys that actually, what's his name? Who's the old Detroit quarterback that ran out of bounds? Orlovsky or
Dan Orlovsky.
Yeah, he actually loves us, and he goes, "This is the future. Like you got 2 great quarterbacks.
That's right.
Yeah.
This is now the future. This is what it is. This is a battle in a division that's going to go for 5-10 years.
I like it.
Yeah.
All right, so that game's in the past. Let's move on to the future. The big Monday night showdown with the Cincinnati Bengals. Our first Monday night game since 2011. Now, look, I don't want to spend a lot of time on this. At this point in the Jaguar season and in this state of the Jaguars, we're supposed to beat a team with a backup quarterback. The Bengals, they're now 5-6, dead last in their division. The Jaguars are 8-3, first in their division. If we don't beat the Cincinnati Bengals,
it should actually be
problem.
a shellacking, but
you
never know. It's football.
Their all-world quarterback, Joe Burrow, is out. He's out for the season.
Mm-hmm.
They're essentially giving up on the season. They're going with Jake Browning. Last week, he versus the Cleveland Browns, 19. Yeah, exactly. Jake Browning, 19 for 26, 227 yards, a touchdown, interception, quarterback rating of 22.5. Nothing much to talk about here.
Watch, I talk smack, and he's going to throw 364 yards.
We'll blame Jeff if Jake Browning comes out on fire.
I'll take the blame on that
We'll blame Jeff on that one. But no, I feel like this is a team we're supposed to actually, if we don't get the win here, then, that's it.
That's what I'm saying. That's going into it with when we've been expected to perform a certain kind of way, and people have been giving us credit and all that stuff, whatever. We haven't always done it.
I agree with that. I 100% agree with that. But being that this is a Monday night game, I don't care who
I agree.
we're playing.
I think the crowd's going to be crazy.
Since 2011.
Yep. It's a blackout, by the way. Make sure you wear black.
Blackout. That's why I'm wearing all black now.
Yep.
I just think that they're going. I don't even think they see who they're playing. They're going, this is prime time. No one talks about us. No one believes in us. We're going to go out there and just. Everybody's watching because there's no other football game except on Monday, and we're going to dominate. That's their mindset.
That's the way it feels
to
me, too.
So, but what I want to say is, though, we are in a prime time. This is a prime time game. This is our coming out party for the rest of the nation to get put on aware. Yes, we're here. This is a real team, and I want to beat down the Bengals. I don't want to just barely escape with a win. We got a backup QB. T. Higgins, their all-world receiver from Clemson, he's also out. We got a first-year rookie quarterback backup, what's his name? Jake Browning out of Washington. I want to see a big-time victory. And actually, I'm going to go ahead and give you my score right now. I'm going 33-10 Jaguars. I don't even think it's ever close. If you guys want to give me your score, go right ahead. If you want to
38-17.
Oh, wait, you're hold on. Let me put it down. 33-10 for me. You got 38-17. What? Which team you got winning, though? All right. Ben, you want to call a score?
30-10.
30-10.
Great score.
All right.
That's a great score.
So we're all pretty much in the same region here. I don't think they get 17 points on this defense with Jake Browning, the incomparable Jake Browning.
No.
So, but yeah, not a lot to say. This is, and actually they would probably have flexed this game if they could have, because we should smoke the Bengals. And I haven't said that all season. I haven't said this should be a cakewalk, but this should be a cakewalk.
It should be to us, but the doubters out there are going to go, what Jaguar is going to show up?
Well,
You
they're
know,
not
which
running the
we
ball.
know-
Haven't we proven that they're not going to run the ball?
Oh yeah, they're in
And
trouble.
Aluakon's got something to say about that. These boys are getting
Well, I
after
think
them.
And we're
Mixon-
due for an interception. We ain't had one in a couple games.
Yeah, and Mixon, I don't think versus the Steelers was the last game. I think it was. I don't think they were able to run the ball. And the Steelers have a good defense, but I don't think the Steelers. I honestly, maybe it's just from our game. I don't think the Steelers are that great. And credit to Tomlin or whoever, but their record is good. But the Bengals lost to them in like a low-scoring game, so I can't see Mixon
That's how I
or
feel
them
about
getting any
Dallas.
running game going in this game. And it's we always are like, oh, you can't wear that shirt. We're superstitious a lot of ways, and I'll kind of talk myself into ways that, well, this could happen. I really don't see any way that they win on Monday night. Or
Talk about Bengals.
The Bengals,
Yeah.
I don't see how we lose, and it should be decisive.
Well, we're definitely going to be watching the game, and we'll be at the game. But
Yep.
if the thing is, I just want to
Are
see
you going
us.
to be at the game?
Oh, Monday nights I'm there. I'm at the Monday.
my
I'm at the
dog,
primetime games.
dog.
Yes, sir.
Dude, if he's at a tailgate,
Yeah,
I didn't say
we're going to
tailgate.
have a live show right there
I did not
on
say tailgate.
spot.
Oh wait, if we're doing a live show, I might have to show.
No, I'm
tailgate.
it's what the
Say.
viewers want, man.
All right,
You gotta-
but no, I want to see us beat down a team for once. I don't want it to be. I want this to be over in the first quarter. I want it to be.
We need it.
No looking back. So yeah, I think nothing much to talk about this game. This one should be a easily passable test for the Jacksonville Jaguars. I hope we get
I
after
actually
them.
called it. I
early and
actually
fast.
took off Tuesday from work.
Nice.
How long ago did you do that? Before Burrow was out?
Yeah.
Oh, we'll see.
Well, it still stands.
All right.
I'm not working on
so
Tuesday.
our Cincinnati preview is going to be short and sweet. I think I'm going to leave it at that. And let's get on to the season-long Pick'em Challenge,
I'm struggling.
where something happened. We have some news. Last week, I had 3 wins. Ben had 2 wins. Jeff 0 wins. Tying up the score.
That's tough.
Ben was the running
I'm
away
like
with it.
6 or 7 behind, right?
You're 8 behind.
Yeah.
Ben and myself have 28. You have 20. And this week we only have one differing, but it's Houston and Denver.
I take risk.
You do
just-
take risks. You
I
took a
take-
risk this week. You got
I take
Denver
a lot
this
of
week.
risk.
I try to pick who I think is going to win with my.
No, you listen to everybody else and you're like, yeah, I'm going to do that one.
I have Houston.
No,
Ben
I
has
really-
Houston. Jeff has Denver.
You're better when you don't talk.
So you can catch a game on both of us going into this week. That's our only different one on the season-long Pick'em
But
Challenge.
guess who's dominating in what? Segment change. Fantasy.
All right, fantasy football. Let's hear it. You beat me this week, Jeff. I want to hear it. Give it all to me right now.
Smoked them almost by 100, and I think I have.
Was it that bad?
Yeah, it was bad.
I didn't
I have
turn back on.
almost a 4-game lead against everybody else because
All right.
Khalil is now on a very bad skid, 4-game skid.
Did Khalil lose?
Yeah, I think some bald-headed freak
Yeah,
beat him.
that's right.
Weird. Yeah, that Ben
What's up,
got a
Khalil?
victory too.
What happened,
And
bro?
actually, I play
What
you.
happened?
I play you this week.
Yeah.
Yep.
All right. So
I'm
we'll
ready
see
to
what happens
announce the
this week.
comeback.
You'll mount something.
Coming up. And that'll just about do it for this week's show.
Yep.
So thank you all for tuning in. We'll see you Monday Night Football, Primetime TV.
Primetime Monday, baby.
Bengals at the
If you
Jaguars.
go into the game, you wearing all black. Just black out. Let's show up. And the only reason we're wearing black is because it's going to be the Bengals funeral.
All right. If you
That's
see
it.
us at the tailgate, come say what's up, everybody. We'll see you out there. Spot on Jaguars, brought to you by Teal Reign. We're out of here.
Yep.
Thank you, guys.
I wear black because it's slimming.
You need all the slim you can get. Jesus.
All right. Good job, boys.